This video is going to be a look at how Lamar Jackson and the Ravens did utilize certain spread concepts against the Bucs, but spread offense is actually kind of a misnomer at times. It doesn't just mean lining one guy up 7 yards from the sideline, lining one guy up, splitting the difference between the top of the numbers and the hash. So you have these even distributions in a 2-by-2 formation. Spread teams use compressed formations. The Ravens use a lot of those. We always have been. What it really means to me in terms of calling something a spread offense is a mindset, is a concept. The concepts are designed to use space to get people open. It's not people aren't wrong asking for us to do more of that. Not at all. We can do them from compressed formations, though, particularly our bunch formation. If you look at 3 of our touchdowns through the air this year, I think they've been through bunch formations. 2 to Duve, and I forget who the third one was. This video, actually, to be honest with you, this isn't a great title, Lamar Jackson and the spread offense, because it's really more so about utilizing other guys. Demarcus Robinson and James Crochet. I've already done an Isaiah Likely video. I don't think I need to do a Devin Duvernay video for this. I mean, I think there's one catch from Duve in here. But at this point, if you don't know what I think of Devin Duvernay, like, I guess I haven't done a good job explaining it, but like, he's a great player. He's a guy who makes plays for us. I'd like to see him get the ball 6, 8, 10 times a game. I'd like to see him involved in the read progression more often, and that's the part that I think relates to the spread offense the most, is the read progression, is utilizing read progressions in a way that ask Lamar consistently to read things besides just which leverage side Mark Andrews is on if it's man-to-man. So be that as it may, some of the missing elements in our offense, attacking man-to-man, pick or rub concepts. We've been seeing more man-to-man, in my opinion, in the last 3 weeks than some of us would have thought. I think we expected it against the Giants, less so against the Bengals and even the Browns, but I think they played more man than we considered. The Bucs situation was somewhat unique because they were missing so many guys defensively, but it's difficult for me to feel sorry for other teams. I don't know about you. With all the injuries that we have suffered just this year, not even referencing last year. You look at guys like Kyle Fuller, Morgan Moses, Marcus Williams, veterans who missed, I believe, a combined 2 games in their career. 2. And Fuller's out for the season. Williams suffered a pretty serious injury, I would call it, and then played for the rest of the first half. Tells you a whole lot about his character and toughness, right? And then Morgan Moses, I think it's pretty clear now at this point that the ankle injury that got him replaced at the end of the Giants game, maybe Browns game, I think it was Giants game, must have been a little more serious because he played quite poorly against the Browns. And then this past Thursday night against the Bucs, he played fantastic. So let's take a look at some spread concepts from the Bucs game. And this will be kind of a meandering video because we will show some film from 2021 of certain guys making plays that shouldn't be a surprise to us. So I did an Isaiah Likely video, and you guys hopefully watched it. This is his patented move to beat man-to-man. What does it mean in terms of a spread offense? Well, some of you aren't going to like this. You can be in 21 personnel and run the spread. And in fact, guys, that's what a lot of college teams do. They're in 21 personnel or they're in 12 personnel. And this guy is an H-back, tight end / fullback. That's not a new concept. Like a guy who's an H-back, for example, the Washington Redskins at the time in the 80s under Joe Gibbs, when they were called the Redskins, they utilized an H-back a ton. Actually, they would use 2 of them, and you didn't know on any given play who was going to be the guy that was going to pull and lead or anything like that. So spread concepts can be something that include a fullback. It's really just refers to the formation, but we don't really have a spread. Some people would say we don't really have a spread alignment here, but it's just a compressed formation. Spread teams use compressed formations all the time because sometimes, like, let's take, for example, let's say you're not a real super talented spread team in terms of your receivers. Well, then people might say, well, we're going to play man-to-man and just lock you up. Well, then when they line up in a compressed formation, meaning 2 guys kind of stacked on each other and maybe even motion a third guy out into the flats, how do you play man-to-man against all those picks and rubs and switches where the natural leverage, can kind of pick a defender? It's going to be really the only completion to Isaiah Likely here in this video. The rest of them is really going to be about Crochet and Demarcus Robinson and Lamar's ability to get them the ball. And most of them are going to be situations where Mark Andrews isn't on the field. This is a snag flat. That's a classic spread or run and shoot concept where you're going to get the running back running out in the flats. In this case, it's Drake and Crochet running the snag. This is a route that Rashad Bateman ran a lot last year. So they're just switching it. The outside receiver's running in to the hook or the curl, and the inside receiver is running out to the flats. Quick decision, boom. Lamar reads it, gets rid of the ball quick. That right there is what we need. 8, 10, 12 times a game to someone other than Mark Andrews. Beautiful catch by Crochet, too. He's not concerned at all about dropping this. Look where he catches. I mean, that's down by the hips, low. Lamar has intentionally thrown it away from this defender to basically lead Crochet. Crochet trusts him and Lamar trusts Crochet to tell him, hey, we want you to turn this way on this because that's where you're protected. You're safe in that direction. That's how some of that operates, guys. When he's throwing the ball, to this side, the left hip of Crochet, he would be telling him, hey, turn in this direction, which obviously he wouldn't want him to do here. That's why that ball was thrown closest to the sideline. A couple of more examples of Crochet in this game. This is his favorite route, or the one thing he's been effective at for a long time, kind of a China in route. And if Lamar has a little bit more time or isn't, so focused on Andrews here, he's going to throw this ball in this space, and Crochet is wide open. You can see it, and has a great opportunity to catch the football. As it is, Lamar goes away from this read for Andrews, and we miss this opportunity. How many times has that happened to Crochet? I'm not sure, but it's a 3rd and 7. It's an easy first down if we get this completion. Lamar has shown us in this Bucs game that he can play in a, quote, spread system. And like I said, sometimes the spread system utilizes compressed formations. Here's Crochet again at the end of the play, scrambling, and Lamar has an opportunity to get it out to him. He's just a little off balance trying to make this throw, and it ends up a little short and a little too far out in front. So we had to punt. Crochet down here at the bottom. Lamar did a great job, I thought. Probably the 5 or 6 times where they brought these slot blitzes. Lamar just did a fantastic job of being aware of it, recognizing it. It was almost like he had a check on every play for the possibility that they were going to blitz off the slot, and Crochet just sits down like a hot route. Boom. Quick, easy. I just love how smooth Lamar looks with this, how comfortable. Boom. Doesn't always have to be 11 personnel, but in this case it is. I felt, and I've said this multiple times on videos and in comments, our 12 personnel with Andrews and Likely is actually an 11 personnel grouping. But you can see you've got 3 wide receivers here. In slot, Crochet, the X down bottom, which is Robinson, and the Z up top, which I think is Duvernay. So 11 personnel, quick decision, boom, getting the ball out of there. Letting Crochet make a catch on a 1st and 10 for 6 yards. All right, 12 personnel. I think this is Oliver, and this is Likely, but you can run, flex. I call it flex. Some people call it double twins. Look at the alignment of it. You've got a guy at the bottom of the numbers because the ball is on the right hash. And since the ball is on the right hash, you can see that this outside number 1 receiver, he's a little further out from the bottom of the numbers because the ball and the right tackle has pushed him in this direction. So they're not equidistant from the ball. All right, there's certainly more width for the downside receiver, which is Duvernay, than there is for the topside receiver, which is Crochet. And then you certainly got that guy splitting the difference between the left tackle's foot and Duvernay's outside foot. Looks like he's halfway to me. This looks like a little closer than halfway in terms of his split between Crochet and the right tackle. This is a great catch by Crochet. Let me get rid of some of this. Hold on. Crochet up at the top, going to run like a little curl. Boom. And Likely occupies this linebacker with just a little sit and then takes it back to the sideline in case Lamar comes off of this read. Just a beautiful catch and throw by Lamar. Lamar kind of fading back because he's got pressure, and Crochet just stabs it out of midair. That shouldn't be surprising to us. I mean, if we've seen him catch the ball at all, and if you haven't, it means you haven't watched the games when he was actually active, because he had some good games last year. And even when he didn't, like the Green Bay game, he had 1 catch for 8 yards. I don't know if I show that one in this clip. That was a 13-yard gain there, by the way. I don't know if I show that play in this video sequence. You got a lot here. Hold on a second. You got a lot here. Let me get this off. A lot of drawing annotation on the screen. All right, it's a 3rd and 4 against Denver in 2021. And Crochet is right here, and we're going to run mesh. And it's a blown coverage by their safety, 31. Crochet ends up wide open, running across the field right to left. Lamar understands it and is willing to sit here and take this heat from the 6-man rush, or what looks like a 5-man rush with a delayed rush by inside backer. Works the ball to Crochet. Crochet has a ton of experience in the spread system. I think SMU was a spread team. So look what he's doing here. He's doing his job, which is to get in the way of this defender. But I think Crochet knows he's open. So he's doing his job here, and he understands, okay, I don't have to actually collision him. Let me just make myself available over here. I think Crochet knows that he's uncovered because of how relaxed he is when he's catching the ball. Yeah, we'd like to see him take that to the house, but like any complaint about the fact that we got a 32-yard gain to our number 4 receiver, like, get out of here. All right, so again, you can see the relationship between Crochet. He's got the over in terms of the 2 drags, and then I think this is Watkins. He's got the under, and Lamar is just waiting for him to clear this situation because he understands he's wide open. That's why Lamar took so much time throwing this football. Sorry, I had to adjust something. Instead of throwing it now, he's waiting for the defender who's with Watkins to clear, and he understands Crochet's wide open. Let me just throw it to him. Guy has made plays for us before. I don't think he scored a touchdown yet. I think that's coming. I actually said I thought he'd score one last week. This one is one that kind of went under the radar. This is a ridiculous catch from last year. Lamar's not playing quarterback. Crochet's in the slot. Looks like a quite simple catch for a first down on a 3rd and 10. It's not. They're playing this version of cover 3 to the boundary, so this inside linebacker is pushing out to the flats. Watch him wall Crochet out. They're rolling this safety to center field, sitting this safety down. Crochet gets collisioned, almost goes off balance. The ball is already being thrown. I think this is Johnson throwing the ball. For whatever reason, Johnson throws the ball to the back shoulder of Crochet. He's thrown it to the back shoulder, closest to this corner. I'm not sure why he did that. It may have just been, slightly off target. And you'll get the end zone angle here in a moment, and you will see the catch. Look at that catch. I know the video's a little grainy for you guys. Looks like it's only 720 and it's supposed to be 1080. But the ball is thrown on the back shoulder. Crochet catches it smoothly. It shouldn't surprise anyone that he was able to have an impact against the Bucs. It really doesn't surprise me. I mean, he's shown these skills. To me, if we are going to run more, spread formations, because it's not a spread offense, although you could say we have 2 different offenses at this point. The more heavier 2 tight ends, 21, 22 personnel group. Now, we're not going to talk about the fact that our left tackle is 6 yards downfield on the catch. What we are going to try to focus on is Crochet down here. You can see that the ball should have been thrown in this area for Crochet to catch it smoothly. That is not your run-of-the-mill, everyday 10, 12-yard catch. Pull this back, sorry. You don't really see him get collisioned in this view. You do see the inside linebacker here walling him out. I showed it to you from the All-22. So he's been collisioned. He's been redirected to our right on this screen, and then still made the catch when the ball was thrown on the wrong side. Tremendous agility, focus. And then the thing I love, look, he's a smaller guy in the NFL, right? And these guys are going to look at film and they're going to say he's a smaller guy. Let's try to bully him a little bit. You can't intimidate and bully James Crochet. You just can't. He's an underrated guy. If you want to ask me a question like, is he a number 3 receiver? I don't care. I don't freaking care. The guy can play when we put him in the slot. We ask him to run some of these shorter routes. He's a really good possession receiver, potentially. And to me, if we're going to be in these situations where we're asking Lamar to do some of these things, Crochet's got to be on the field, especially now that Bateman's going to be out. Another tough catch with a defender closing on him. There's no one here, so it's not a tough catch from that standpoint. But it's tough from the standpoint he's being collisioned as soon as he catches it. Sure hands. You will get the end zone angle, and you'll see what I mean by sure hands. We're going to move on to DeMarcus Robinson film here in a moment. Crochet's off screen to our left. This is the end zone angle. Quick throw by Huntley. I love it. I root for James Crochet. I'm not going to lie. Call me a homer. Call me whatever you want. I root for the guys that, are considered underdogs. That's what makes, like, P.J. Walker's story so cool, right, for the Carolina Panthers. They're underdogs. Guys that, they're not supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be able to play at this high level. And it doesn't matter what this dude does. He only made 3 catches last week, so I guess that doesn't move the needle. I immediately stop listening when people type that word, to be honest, the phrase, to be honest with you. All right, let's move on to Demarcus Robinson. As the backside X in this bunch formation, little out route, not necessarily speed out, but this is a third down. This is a 3rd and 7. Bucs showing pressure. They bring 5. And he's trying to get Zion McCollum off, get some space to then break this to the sideline. Zion McCollum's an incredible athlete, dude. I mean, he was one of the him and Tariq Woolen was the highest rated in terms of athletic ability. I forget what they call that acronym, RAS or something like that, for the draft. They were the 2 highest rated in terms of athletic ability, combination of all the things that they do at the combine. So I think this is a zone blitz, 3 deep, 3 under. And Robinson's just taking advantage of it. He's a professional receiver. We're very, very lucky to have him. Do I think he's going to have 6 catches for, whatever he had in the game every week? No. Here's another example of an 11 personnel play. I think this is likely in the slot here, and I think you've got Crochet, Duve, and Robinson up top. All stops. 344, we would call it. Quick stop route against off coverage by the corner. Looks like cover 3. Easy completion for him, 6-yard gain on a 1st and 10. This is a 1st and 20. Robinson's down here. Crochet's going to take this route to the outside, and I think he's trying to screen this slot. He kind of brings that slot defender toward Robinson. I get it, and you can see the corner here. When Crochet breaks off, the corner starts to break off as well. I kind of would like it if Crochet brought this route in, see what this slot defender would do, but I'm quite sure they knew the coverage and they understood what the defense was trying to accomplish. You see the safety dropping down here as Lamar looks to this side. I wish that we had had an opportunity to run an out and up, when we felt like we were going to get stuff like this from the Bucs safeties. We haven't hit enough big stuff this year. Haven't even attempted it other than a couple of design situations. Big formation for us against the Bucs. Trips, 1, 2, 3. Now this is out of 11 personnel. I think we ran it out of 12 personnel some before Andrews went out. So trips left, and then the running back is on the other side. And it's a snag flat concept to the top. They're zoning it, they being the Bucs. We'll let it run a couple of times so you can see the distribution of the routes. It's 3-on-2 over there. It's a 4-man rush. So this corner's sitting in the flat. This guy's got the hook. And then you've got a deep half safety. So the way we're attacking it is we got snag flat. So the snag is Demarcus Robinson and Justice Hill going into the flat. Watch Lamar's throw. There's too many people who comment and say things like, oh, that ball's thrown, behind him. It's thrown away from this defender. We shouldn't have to say this at this point. There are, I don't know, like Twitter is one of those places where I wish that Elon Musk would make it to where you had to earn your stripes to post football commentary stuff, because people will say things like, oh, that ball is thrown behind him. It's thrown away from the defender intentionally, and it's just an indication that Lamar, A, understands the read, B, sees the coverage, and understands the coverage. And I don't have the end zone angle for you, but watch Lamar's helmet. He's either looking at the linebacker and the safety or just the linebacker trying to determine the coverage. I would say he's looking at the linebacker, trying to figure out, is it man? Is the linebacker running there? And if it was, then this snag route would have been thrown, further in this direction for Demarcus Robinson to keep him away from this defender, or wherever that defender ended up playing man on the leverage side. Lamar understands that it's zone, so he's not going to go here because the corner is going to break on that. He's going to hit Demarcus Robinson kind of on the back shoulder a little bit. Really, he probably hit him in the 0, in his number over his left chest plate. Some spread stuff from, no, this video is very grainy, my apologies. Some spread stuff from 2021, very minimal, just in terms of what I'm offering you, but there's a whole lot more. The spread doesn't have to be, this nice, neat alignment of receivers. They can sometimes be right next to each other. It's called compressed. And sometimes that's by design because of the release. I don't think they're getting a great release here, to be honest with you. Marquise Brown trying to run this vertical, and then Andrews trying to sit the route down. Sometimes it works for us, sometimes it doesn't. Kind of depends on the coverage. We also get a little congested by this guy going in motion and this other defender coming across. Point being, Lamar has shown the ability to do plenty of these things. I think that's Watkins on the backside, complete against the Chiefs in week 2 last year. There's no reason why we can't have the ability to attack out of, 4 stand-ups. And what I mean by 4 stand-ups is 4 guys standing up, whether you're a receiver, whether you're a tight end, whether you're a fullback, an H-back, whatever, we would say a spread team is 4 stand-ups versus a guy who's a tight end and maybe down here with both feet on the ground, obviously, in an equidistant or even stance, and maybe crouched down like a tight end off the line of scrimmage, where he could, post snap, slip out into the flats, or post snap, step this way and block a D end on a run play. This, we would say, a spread offense is 4 stand-ups, 4 guys in stand-up positions, not making it quite obvious that they're not going to threaten you with the run game on that particular play. It doesn't have to be an 11 personnel either, to be honest with you. There's a 20 personnel grouping. I think you've got a running back. I think that's Latavius Murray, but I could be wrong. And then Pat Ricard. So it's 20 personnel, meaning 2 running backs and no tight ends. Actually, my apologies, it's 21. That looks like Mark Andrews up there to me. And it's going to be the touchdown to Marquise Brown if you haven't recognized it already. This would be the part that I would say the Ravens got to attack a little bit more. We did so earlier in the year with Bateman. I thought, well, we hit the Jets on that design play, somewhat similar to that play, right? And then we missed another one. I want to say maybe the same game. But we just haven't attempted these, to be honest with you. And we have guys who can get there. Certainly Devin Duvernay is a guy who can get down the field. All right, a underutilized route. And we had a big conversation on Twitter Sunday night, about this, is this little underneath route. This is a spread concept, okay? This is a spread concept because we're spreading the defense out. We're forcing someone to go with the motion guy out into the flats. And you'll see it's this defender that goes with him. So we're just subtracting one from the second level, all right? You can see, regardless of who that is, I don't care, that someone's got to go with him. Right? That's just designed to subtract one from the box. Then we're isolating this inside linebacker with Andrews. You can see that inside linebacker carries Andrews, has his back to the quarterback. Lamar already knows where he's going to go with the football. He's going to hit the drag to Bateman. That's an underutilized concept or route, I should say, in our offense. It's kind of like stealing money. It's a cool concept because you got a vertical on the front side, which essentially just acts as a clear out, flat route here. So you're subtracting one outside defender, you're subtracting an inside defender. There is, absolutely the possibility to catch this ball and keep on running, if this defender isn't pretty aware, if you ask me, to come off of that vertical, come down and try to tackle Rashad Bateman. I think that was a 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, something like that. So it's not like we haven't used some of these spread concepts before to good effect. I offered to you, and I said it last year, in fact, that the reason why the Dolphins used a lot of stick splits 0 was because they saw this game and they saw Lamar throwing the ball effectively to multiple guys, and they said, we're going to force someone else to beat us besides Lamar. We're going to force him to get the ball out of his hands quick. It wasn't like they did that because he can't make decisions. It wasn't like they did that because of the play. It was just, let's get the ball out of his hands because he's too freaking dangerous for us to let him sit and do this and dissect this and pull us apart. So the Bucs game doesn't surprise me for real, from the standpoint of Lamar being able to get back there if he has time, throw the ball to different guys. We've seen the RPO stuff work for a long time. In this case, the RPO is to our right, which is somewhat rare for the Ravens because we have a right-handed quarterback. So for him to execute the RPO to the right, the ball, his right arm is going to have to go in this direction to mesh with the running back, and then come back to this side because he's right-handed. He's got to throw it from his right shoulder. Now he doesn't throw from his shoulder, but he throws from his right shoulder because he is right-handed. So the RPO is a little bit different timing on that side as opposed to the other side. Left to right, the ball's going to end up after the mesh over on his right hip or just outside his right hip, and it's very easy for him to bring his elbow up and throw it, back to our left. But this is a concept that we've used for a while. How much offense is there for the Ravens in these looks? 30%, 40%, 50%? I'd like to see a 45-55 split at the end of the season. And I don't care which one is 55. I don't know why so many people do. Me personally, whatever is working, let's do that. Like, that's just what I would advocate for. So, yep, this is a very similar route to what we saw earlier. This will be the last one I show you from 2021. I tried to get the two Chiefs plays together. I don't know why they didn't. But you're going to get Brown and I think Duve splitting. So they're basically clearing out this part of the field. They're basically isolating it for Andrews. And like that last play was an RPO where it could go to anyone, and it went to Andrews. This one, to me, is purely designed to go to Andrews for a lot of reasons. You've got this split of these guys to try to get defenders out of there, number one. Number two, he's off the line. It's tougher to get hands on him when he's off the line of scrimmage. And then Lamar and him are just reading the coverage. Okay, this guy's going to get off. Well, let me just sit down and you throw it to me. Cool. I got no problem with that. My only point is, and I think many of this great play by him to get out of bounds, by the way, is we can't be so centric on Mark Andrews. And I think people have been saying that for a long time in different ways. We've got to give other people opportunities. The bunch formation, I think, is becoming one of our best formations along with twin slot. Lamar seems real comfortable with those reads. I forgot about that play completely, how ridiculous it was. Look, let me know what you think of this video. I didn't intend for all my videos to get in the 25, 30-minute range, but at this point, trying to explain things a little bit in depth, can the Ravens run the, quote, spread offense? They've been doing it for more than a year. Like, get out of here with that. What we saw against the Bucs is not anything new. Lamar's been able and capable of doing those things for a while. The only difference, if you ask me, is that Mark Andrews was out against the Bucs. So we kind of spread the ball around to more guys naturally. So the spread offense isn't just a formation. It isn't just the horizontal width of your alignment. In my opinion, to be a real spread offense, you have to move the ball around to different guys. And that's the part that's been missing. And two people grew on Thursday night in that regard. And number one was Greg Roman, and number two was Lamar Jackson. For real, we spread the ball around a whole lot more. Was it because Mark Andrews wasn't there? I mean, it's a little bit of a harsh thing to say, but yes. Look at what Huntley did when Lamar was out. He threw the ball to Andrews a lot, right? I'm not surprised. He's a great player. Andrews is a great player, and he deserves a lot of targets. But in my opinion, for us to navigate the difficult path through the AFC that we want to navigate, culminating in a Super Bowl, if you ask me, we've got to spread the ball around to different guys. We certainly do that in the run game, partitioning out our carries to multiple guys and not just one running back getting 22 or 24 carries. In my opinion, it's got to be the same approach, the same perspective from our coaches with the pass game. Everything can't be like that last play that I showed you to Andrews, which was clearly designed to pull defenders away and isolate him on an inside linebacker. And then Lamar just read the coverage and throw it to him. Compare that one to the Vikings play I showed you 2 or 3 plays earlier where Rashad Bateman ran that underneath drag. That was designed to isolate an inside linebacker on Andrews. And if he covers Andrews poorly, then of course Lamar could throw it to Andrews. But he had a secondary option off of it. And in my opinion, I'd like to see more of those plays like the one against the Vikings where we use Andrews' gravity, maybe the gravity of some motion, to get other people open and available for the football. But if Andrews is open and it's easy throw to him, we take it. Am I saying there was times where Lamar ignored other players? No. I'm just saying he was hyper-focused on Mark Andrews, and you saw it even early in the Bucs game. It's not wrong-headed to say that. I'm the biggest Lamar Jackson fan there is, but there's times where Mark Andrews would get 12, 14 targets, no matter who was playing quarterback, and other guys would only get 3. Marquise Brown, Rashad Bateman, whoever. I think spreading the ball around to multiple guys is more important than spread formations, or as some people refer to it, a spread offense. That's my opinion. It's more important for us to, I said this in a tweet last night, like Greg Popovich used to say for the Spurs, move the ball. Move the ball around, more passes, move the ball horizontally side to side, get the ball in different people's hands, keep them engaged, give them an opportunity to make plays, and they will do so because they're involved in the gameplay, in the game flow. That's my thoughts on Lamar Jackson and the spread offense. Can he be successful? He already has been. It's not new, if you ask me. It's just a matter of our coaches calling plays that utilize more players than just Mark Andrews, and Lamar making a concerted attempt to get the ball to those secondary players who, we will need, obviously, Monday night in New Orleans. We're going to be without Rashad Bateman, possibly without Mark Andrews, and who knows, without Gus Edwards. So the secondary complementary players are going to play a huge role in whether we're 6-3 heading into the bye or whether we're a disappointing 5-4. Let me know what you guys think of the video in the comments section.